of the world.
Tom just picks up a pair of scissors and starts cutting a random person's hair. It's like, no. What are you doing?
There's other forms of
Tom
entertainment.
becomes a barber.
It's called entertaining yourself, dickhead. Maybe you should read about it.
I've learned through observation. Now I am qualified.
But this is the other thing as well. I'm also self-conscious, Tom, when I do exactly that. When I'm just staring around the room, I'm like, if someone notices me what I'm doing, it's just like, what the hell is this guy doing? Like, he's just looking around the room like aimlessly. I'm like, oh yeah, that's a nice portrait on the wall. Oh yeah, that's good hair locks on the floor. Like,
They yell at you. Stop looking at me. Look at the floor. Look at your phone like a normal person.
yeah.
In this person's situation, I don't think it's a bad thing to bring a Switch to a convention because, like you said, Marcus, that fits in right there. And especially if you're awkward, and I'm a very socially awkward person, it's nice to have that crutch sometimes with your phone to be like, as opposed to being bored and standing around or not feeling like you can contribute to a conversation, to be able to look down at your phone and at least be engaged with something and kind of feel like you're not there by yourself, even when you are.
I definitely think that, but you also got to set limits on yourself on how much you spend on the Switch or on your phone. I wouldn't say don't go to this convention that's a 4-hour convention and be on your phone for 3 hours of it. Go there, and only when you really feel like, okay, now everything's lull, I can't really do much. Maybe I'll play Switch for half an hour, but limit yourself would be my take.
You could be in a situation maybe in his head was just like, I'm going to be sitting here playing my Switch. Someone's going to come up to me and be like, hey, bro, do you kart? And it's like, do I kart? Who do you kart at? It's like, I go Koopa Trooper, bro. I'm Donkey Kong. And they hit it off and they could become friends. It could happen. But I guess these conventions, they also have like a lot of lines and things like that too. So one hand, you could sort of have a bit of entertainment in line. I don't think there's anything wrong with having it specifically in this situation. Similar to being on your phone to kill time, I think this is kind of an acceptable situation to have it. But it sounds like he's more concerned about like the after party at the bar and grill or something, which is, be social then maybe.
How do you guys feel about the whole convention scene? I mean, we've been to conventions together before. Yeah. As we are, look, let's just say this: we're old men now. We're getting on to a degree.
We all are now, aren't we? It's not just me.
I think Tom was actually fixing up his wheel just before we got onto the podcast because he hasn't been feeling that good recently. Some heart problems. But would you go to conventions now? What did you think of him in the past? Are you guys fans of him?
I never really sort of enjoyed them as a convention as far as what they had on offer. And when we had gone together, the three of us, and I think some other people would probably come with us, I've had a good time out with you guys. So that's where I sort of found enjoyment out of it. I wouldn't sort of go there for anything else. And also, like, I feel like some of those things are like multiple day passes. I couldn't do more than like an afternoon there. And I'm just like, I need to, like, I've seen enough. I have done enough. I don't really want to line up and play a 5-minute demo of a video game or something. I'm happy to just move on.
I think you hit the nail on the head there, Tom. I feel like it was better with friends. I think I think all three of us went and we played the PS4 VR thing, and that was just fun to watch.
That was funny.
Yeah, that was funny to watch. Like, that was at a time when VR was just in its baby infancy, and that was fun. I would never go to it by myself though, and because I'm like, I don't care that much about it. I'm like, when I want it, I'll see it. Like, I'm happy to watch YouTube clips about things as opposed to going to those conventions. But that being said, with friends, it actually is a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's fair. The thing that always struck me, I always heard the stereotype of like conventions having a bad aroma about them, and that smell was definitely real.
100%, that's there.
I feel like I've never seen so much random vomit just around. I think it's people just like chugging Mountain Dew and stuff and just getting a bit too excited, just vomiting all over the floor.
But like, I can understand kids, but I would also imagine like some like teenagers vomiting too, or whatever. Like, I was like, they're at the D&D table. They just can't they can't leave the D&D table. Let's just chuck to the left of me and continue. Let that roll. But
this is what happens when my mother doesn't limit my intake of sour worms and burger rings. I get really sick. I knew she was speaking.
And the Doritos.
That's all the food groups there, Tom.
Yeah, of course.
That's like the casino thing you hear of people who are like mad gamblers that they wear nappies. I had a friend who used to work there, and he's like, there are dudes who definitely smell like cuck because they're just gambling for so long. They are wearing like adult diapers so they don't have to leave the table.
Oh boy.
Either that or they're just shitting themselves. One of the two.
both
Do you
terrible.
guys believe in Lady Luck that much? Like that? Do you believe in Lady Luck at all to actually consider like, I'm at this table, I'm winning big, I don't want to lose this luck, I will shit my pants.
Table's
Because
hot.
obviously that's why.
Table's hot, so are my pants.
yeah. Table's hot, so is my pantaloons. Like, I can't imagine. I don't believe in luck in the best of times, let alone luck at like I'm winning big. I got to shit my pants.
So basically putting $1,000 on Brown is what you're saying. We would be willing to do that.
Yeah, $1,000. I've always bet on Brown. That's it.
No, definitely not, man. I think even in life, I think you're very much in control of your own destiny. I think there is a right place, right time type of thing. But for the most part, I do not think Lady Luck is blessing us with nuggets of gold every now and then.
I'm with you on that. Can we all agree on there's no way she'll win? That we've got an acceptable answer there.
I think so. I think so. I think there's an acceptable answer to that. You can bring your Switch. I just think don't be on it the whole time. Maybe just be on it like bits and pieces is probably the best bet.
Yeah. Do it to do a bit of socializing if you have to when you're not socializing, but then be there to actually socialize. We'll leave it there for there's no way she'll win. Now, Damien, you're going to be up next. Who's your horse?
Yes, and my horse is Glue Factory. That's the name I would call him.
I don't know how Peter and all the animal rights groups will feel about Glue Factory running, but I like it. It's edgy.
Look, hey, it's the bad boy of horse racing. I am what I am, and it's glue. That's where I'm going. Those poor
Nice one.
goddamn
I hope
horses.
it sticks.
All right.
I hope it sticks.
Oh, horrible. Boo. Boo this man.
Boo for Glue.
All right. Glue Factory says, am I weird for not wanting to participate in my husband's family death ritual?
Oh.
My husband's family has an extremely bizarre set of rituals surrounding death and funerals. They're from Wales, but I don't think this is a cultural thing. I think they might just be a bunch of weirdos. In my husband's family, before a corpse of a recently deceased family member is buried, they will have all of the teeth of the deceased knocked out and will give one tooth to each of their living relatives in a fabric pouch, which they're meant to keep with them. They even have a system for how they decide which family member gets which tooth based on their proximity to the deceased. Any teeth that the deceased has collected themselves over their life is added into an ornate chest, which is literally filled with thousands of human teeth, which apparently goes back many generations. I found out about this tradition about a year after I got married to my husband at his grandmother's funeral when my mother-in-law gave me a pouch with one of her molars. My husband got very upset when I told him I didn't want to participate in this ritual when I die. He asked me whether I would really deny my children the ability to have something to remind them of me after I pass away, or to feel left out from their cousins. I'm trying to be understanding, but to me, this whole practice seems completely effing insane. Am I being a bad wife? Based on how our last conversation went, I think he's considering divorce. Glue Factory.
Oh, wow.
I think clearly Glue Factory is married to Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, or at least someone in that family, because there's some creepy shit going on in there. That sort of irks me the wrong way.
Before we proceed, I did actually get in touch with one of my friends who is Welsh, just to make sure we're not accidentally shitting on some big Welsh tradition that we don't know about. Yeah. I sent this question to him and he's like, I have no fucking idea what this is about. This is not a Welsh thing. This is just a creepy person thing.
I'm glad hopefully he's a complete expert on Welsh knowledge and Welsh lifestyles, that we can confirm that we're not going to offend any Welsh people, but that is fucking weird.
All's Welsh that ends Welsh, as they say.
That is very weird. Like bringing it back. Like, what the fuck? they chip out teeth. They're like, dunk, 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 dunk. Here you go. Have a molar for you. Have a canine for you. Like, ugh.
So wait, they said that you, depending on the tooth you get based on your proxy or how close you were to them. So there's a hierarchy of like front teeth as like your number one in their life all the way to the back or something.
Well, that's why I wanted to ask you guys, because the person mentions how they got a molar for when the grandmother passed away. So going by proximity, I'm guessing to this family, molar is like the shit tooth. That's the one nobody cares about, right?
Shit tooth.
I guess, but they do a lot of the work though, don't they? They do a lot of the chewing.
But that's the thing. There's not much to them. They got to work hard, so it's not much of a tooth. If it was up to me, I'd want like one of the teeth with like a silver filling in it. You can sell that baby. Melt the silver.
Just melt it down and do something. Look, the other thing is like you've only got so many teeth in your head. Like how many family members do you have? What happens then? You just miss out. It's just like you got your starting lineup. Who's your best 22, and you got to give whatever teeth you've got in your head. If you have like a great aunt who was very big into the sugary treats and only has one tooth, then that's the coveted tooth, Tom. All right.
Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
You get this is Aunt Salma's lucky tooth. All right, nobody got this.
Yeah.
I got this. I'm the winner.
She definitely ate too many sour worms and vomited at a few conventions, to say the least, to bottle the teeth out of her head.
Yeah.
If you guys were in this situation where let's say you married into the family and then your partner's like, oh, by the way, when you die, my family wants to turn you into a gummy shark and take all your teeth. Would you be okay to part with all your teeth? And if not, is there something that's part of your body that you would be happy to part with?
Look, I mean, one argument you could have is that once you pass on, like your spirit or your soul leaves your body, and your body is just going to be there decomposing. So on one hand, I could say, look, take whatever you want from me. If it's a ritual and if it's part of like your history, and if this is part of me being, part of your history, then fair enough. If you want to spend, if you want to link your lives together, then I don't know. Am I enough of a simp that I would say, yeah, sure, take all the teeth out of my body and give them to my relatives or your relatives? Maybe I am. Depends on if this person is worth it, I guess.
I think you hit the nail there, Tom, with it depends on how much they're worth you. I don't really mind. I would give up my teeth. I'd be like, yeah, I bet what difference does it make to me? I'm dead.
You don't need them, yeah.
Yeah, I'm dead. Like,
but do you think your side of the family would be okay with that? If they're like, oh, by the way, my in-laws are just going to strip my engine, they're going to get rid of all my teeth.
I would say to them, leave the teeth in me until the casket's closed and nobody sees me again. Like,
it's too late at that point, Marcus. They bury you on that day.
Yeah, that's true. They got to replace your teeth with some PK or Tic Tacs or something.
Yeah,
I don't tell my family this and let them all deal with it at the end after I'm gone. I don't need to deal with it.
So does that mean that you would be okay with the family's way of like carrying around relatives' teeth as well? Because you have to partake in that. You're pot committed.
Yeah, but I'd just leave them at home or something. But the other thing as well is if I don't like my in-laws, that's all I'm leaving to them in my will. You get my teeth, everybody else gets my wealth. All right? That's what you guys wanted.
Look, it's probably not the strangest thing to do. I mean, maybe it's because you're thinking of the act of actually taking teeth out and then keeping it like some sort of bone collector. I know someone when they passed on, they were cremated, and this person was like very much sort of like he was a bit of a metalhead and stuff like that. And he actually got, I'm pretty sure he had some of his remains be put into a bullet and given to his family and friends. So he had his cremated remains put into a bullet, and then people have that bullet of their cremated remains of this particular person, which to me, I'm like, that's one thing to be cremated, but then to be sort of, put into a factory and made into a bullet, and I don't know, it just sort of seems not something that I would necessarily do. And it's quite confronting, I think, to think of the person encased in a object in a way compared to like an urn or something. It's a bit strange.
I've never heard of bullets. I've heard people do it with like vinyls. Like they kind of have like all their favorite, the person who's passing away, they have like all their favorite songs compiled into a playlist, printed on a vinyl, and then their ashes are actually like sprinkled into the vinyl.
Wow.
And then it's pressed. Which I guess is kind of nice. I guess it makes you think of them whenever you put. I feel like you're going to get more use out of a vinyl than a bullet. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's true. Make it count.
Would you ever feel like if you got given the death vinyl without knowing about it,
the death vinyl?
Would you feel like this is
you play it backwards and you hear a hidden message?
Yeah. Would you feel like not offended but grossed out, like if you received that bullet or if you received that vinyl, like? I don't want your remains to be like, I love you and I respect you, but like, would you feel like a little bit weird about it?
I think it's not necessarily about you. It's about that person. It's almost like, not even like a dying wish, but it's basically to say like, you mean something to me. It's their last sort of way of telling you, if it's something that they wanted to do, that you were important to them. So if anything, you might feel humbled by it, but there would be an aspect of you being a little bit sort of maybe creeped out about it, depending on your views of life and mortality and things like that.
I also think in this family situation, it's kind of a weird tradition, right? But I don't think it makes them like horrible people or bad people. I think the only thing that makes it a bit weird is that the husband's pushing it so much on his wife. And it's like, well, she's not comfortable doing that.